The title and the thumbnail of this video is probably going to be very edgy and clickbaity and ironic on purpose. Something like Russian reacts to Kursk or whatever, basically to make fun of the concept of me having to say something because, look guys, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening right now. The Ukrainian armed forces have recently invaded, or should I say, started a special military operation on the territory of the Kursk region of Russia. Russia is trying to ban everything and is currently slowing down YouTube. That is what they're preoccupied with, I guess, instead of trying to slow down enemy troops. And since I'm a Russian guy who talks about Russia, a lot of people expect me to have an expert take on this, where I know what this means for Russia and Ukraine and I know how all this is going to end. No guys, unfortunately I cannot give you that because I am no military expert. And if you haven't noticed, I've never really been the type of guy to make this kind of content. You know what I'm saying? Like doing a bit of a soy face on the thumbnail and talking about this or that army taking like 3 meters of land. And then saying it means that, you know, this or that side is done. And look, I'm not even dissing those people. They should do what they're doing. There's a place for that content, but me, personally, I'm just a guy who doesn't know anything about military. And to be quite honest, in this video, I want to talk about how I honestly kind of have almost a psychological mechanism which stops me from even really looking at stuff related to the war. And like actual military developments or whatever. Hey there guys, it is your boy Roman. I am a Russian guy who left Russia, and I've been making videos studying and criticizing Russian propaganda and the super conservative Z agenda that they're pushing. And I'm a person that deeply cares about the future and the fate of both Russia and Ukraine. But I have to be honest, in this video I just want to come clean and say that I really do not follow, and I really actually avoid following actual military news. And I even tried to avoid looking at military footage from this terrible war of, you know, terrible things. Yeah guys, what can I say? I do not really enjoy looking at that stuff because it honestly makes me feel bad on multiple levels. And today I wanted to decipher it. And first of all, I actually want to address something. I do realize that what I'm saying here comes from a point of privilege, kind of. Because in a sense, I have the privilege of not caring. Because geographically, I'm not physically located in a zone where, you know, this stuff is happening. I'm not a civilian or a soldier on either side that is there. I don't have family members out there. And yes, I understand that the people who are actually involved in this, these people do not have the privilege of not caring and kind of, you know, forgetting about it. Because I'm obviously living here in Portugal in the European Union, you know, sunny weather, pastel de nata, palm trees, whatever, life is jolly. I do realize all of that, and I do think that to a certain degree, the way I kind of avoid looking at it is the same way that a lot of Russians inside Russia avoid looking at it just so that they can keep living their normal life and feel like they actually live in a normal society. I will talk about that, but yes, what I'm trying to say is that I know I'm not perfect. But no matter what I do, I just cannot really follow it. I believe there are multiple reasons for this. First of all, you know, a lot of the people on YouTube who discuss frontline updates or whatever, most of these people, they seem to be ex-military to some degree, you know, they're usually either veterans. Well guys, that is just not me. Because I'm certainly not a soldier. I don't really think I look like it. I look like a goddamn fanboy right now. Russian soldiers don't really look like this. And actually, I haven't served in the Russian army. Even though in Russia serving in the army is mandatory, I actually managed to avoid this completely legally too. I have a video about this you can check out. So yes, in general, I'm the furthest thing from a soldier possible. And I never really wanted to be a military man. I was never really obsessed or inspired by the style or whatever, the aesthetic of the military. I was never the kind of guy that cared about camo or types of tanks or whatever, you know. I did play like Call of Duty when I was growing up, and I do like guns or whatever, but that's as far as it would go. But no, I was never into the military stuff. I was never like a super patriotic in the sense that the Russian government sees the word patriotic guy, you know. I was not overly obsessed with like serving the motherlands or whatever. And I do not know anything about war. Like, I'm not some kind of Reddit OSINT guy who's, you know, sitting all day looking at maps. I can be the guy covering, like, frontline updates and shit. And even though, yes, there's a ton of channels who just upload videos, like, every single day with super clickbaity titles and thumbnails, you know, Russia is fallen, Ukraine is fallen, this second, right now. Yeah, they're getting good views, you know, it could have been a good grift for me, I guess, if I really pushed myself, but I would have fucking hated my life. I mean, I already kind of hate it as it is. Just kidding, it's fine, but looking at war stuff all the time would make it even worse. Another reason why I really have to avoid this stuff is I don't like looking at combat footage, whatever. I don't find any enjoyment out of like watching people perish. You know what I'm saying? I don't really enjoy that. It doesn't bring me happiness afterwards. It just feels super empty and you just feel like you hate the world. Like, you really have to get yourself away from that shit to really get a peace of mind. You cannot always spend 24/7 of all your time thinking about how your country that you love and that you grew up in or that you spend your entire life in or whatever is turning to absolute shit. It's not enjoyable to think about that and to look at that 24/7. It's really not great for your mental health. And also, obviously, when you follow a lot of that war frontline stuff, you have to take a look at, like, these super nationalistic, super, like, extreme Telegram channels and stuff. Like, you can't even read it. Like, it's not good for your soul to read that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It just makes you feel shit about yourself. And look, when the war just started and when I moved to Georgia, I would follow every single thing that is happening. I would read, like, comments and I would read what people are saying. A lot of very hateful shit every single day, like, every fucking morning, just for hours and hours and hours. Obviously, you can imagine what, like, my state of mind was like. I felt like very awful about myself and about everything, about the world, because every day, you're just losing hope that your country might, turn normal again one day, and it's not exactly fun at all. Like, when I look at Shaman or whatever, Russian propaganda music, that stuff, it is also terrible in the sense of when you look at it and it's like an obvious sign of, like, fascism almost. But then it's also absolutely hilarious because of how, awkward and cringy it is. There's nothing awkward or cringy about war. It's dirty and disgusting. And I don't even want to, like, join any of the camps, honestly, when it comes to this debate. I don't even know how to feel about what is happening, There's, like, a big debate on the internet right now, essentially, about what is happening in Kursk. And, right now you have, like, extremely kind of almost self-hating Russian liberals that are, like, egging on kind of everything that is going on and being, like, super, almost too excited about, like, airstrikes in Russia or whatever. Then you also have these off the deep end Russian libs that are like, oh, well, actually, Ukraine has now stooped to Russia's level by doing this. So actually now, Russia and Ukraine are exactly the same and they know there's no difference or whatever. Like, obviously, there's also the Z people that are like, obviously, they're having, a normal one right now. So, I don't know. It's so insane. It's all just a lot of people being very hateful, and I do not want to look at it. And I understand that, I guess I could have looked at it more. Possibly. I could have made more videos. I could have made more money, right? If that's the point of living. But it would make me miserable. It's almost like, even though there's a lot of foreigners that are concerned with what is going on in Russia and Ukraine, for good reasons, right? There's a lot of people who kind of are treating, this entire war as like, almost like a football match. It's kind of like sports for them. They're having fun, voting for their team. And they're enjoying the destruction. And it's kind of weird to me. And I just do not want to do that. And a lot of the people that treat the war this way happen to be unrelated to either Ukraine or Russia, so they're looking at it as a spectator, as a kind of a thing that's far away from them, for a lot of Americans probably this is how it is. And they're kind of looking at it as this, Coliseum battle almost, for fun. I don't know, I don't want to entertain that, also. So yes, all of this is pretty much why I do not really talk about, developments on the fronts on this channel, because first of all, I'm not the guy to talk about it. I really don't know anything about it. I'm not some kind of OSINT military expert, so for me it's more fun to talk about Shaman, So I don't really think I can even provide a good take. And look, of course I want to specify that obviously I do kind of know in general what is going on. Like, I'm not completely oblivious to the entire conflict. Like, you have to be sort of in the know in general, but it's definitely not, a daily or even a weekly thing to see what is going on. Obviously, I do hear about big tragic events. You can't, not hear about those. But in general, the world is just so crazy. I already got enough in my mind as it is. I'm a new immigrant, I'm adapting to a new country. All of this, is rather difficult, so it gets to a point where you have to limit the amount of negative stuff that you intake. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to talk about. I just want to see if you guys relate to this in any way, and this doesn't even have to be about the Ukraine war. This could be related to anything, you could have some other things in your life that you kind of are shutting your eyes to, almost as like a psychological reaction, kind of a lot like I said, the way I do it is almost reminiscent of the way a lot of Russians today would also react to it. A lot of Russians today, who I know, young people, they also do not follow the news on the front line, because a lot of the people that I know, they're also kind of like me, not military guys. never wanted to be in the military, don't know much about it. And they also want to stay sane too. So they ignore that type of stuff, right? And also, I imagine for a lot of people it must be also like kind of a psychological reaction where you almost cannot, you know, be normal or even like be okay with yourself when you live in Russia and when you are aware of these things that are happening, but you know, you may not agree with them, but you have essentially no way to stop these things and you have no way to affect any of this and you have like no money or no means to leave, for example. What you're gonna do is that you're gonna shut off and you're gonna be like, okay, none of this concerns me. I can live my normal life, you know, if I just, you know, keep doing my thing, keep doing my job, you know, I can get through this. And you know, that's a normal reaction, I feel like. But yeah, it leads to people being unaware of what is going on and it leads to people, you know, shutting themselves off, which is once again something that I do. So I am not good at being a YouTuber or I don't know, a well-studied guy regarding things I actually talk about. No fuckers bangers, worst YouTuber of all time, please subscribe. Yes guys, I guess that is going to be pretty much it for today's video though. If you guys enjoyed it, then make sure to please smash the like on it. And also guys, if you would like to support me additionally, and that is financially, then you can go over to the link down in the description and become a YouTube member. It's basically a monthly donation and is the best way to support me, or you can also do a super thanks for a one-time donation. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Now this time I really mean it. Peace.